Yeah, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Finance United podcast. I am your host, Lenny Bradley, and in this 10th episode, we are doing something a little different. Now, before getting into everything, I just want to say give us a follow over on Facebook and Instagram at Finance United. What we're going to be doing with our Finance United IG, we're going to be getting rid of that. So everything could be nice and consolidated on Finance United, keep things easier for people to see, the podcast, the apparel, and anything else related to Finance United. So, like I was saying before, this episode is going to be a little different from the rest. Now, since the beginning of 2021, in the locker rooms, as soon as you walk into the precinct, in the muster rooms, all you hear amongst cops is stocks. Who's trading this? Who's doing that? Who's on Robinhood? Who's on TD Ameritrade? And it's just been one of the biggest crazes that I've heard of since 2017, maybe 2018, back in the crypto craze, the original crypto craze. But this is just on a whole nother level. So the other day I posted something on IG saying that taking advice on stocks from other cops is like taking the advice from a perp on how to process a collar. So a few people hit me up and they were like, there's cops here that know what they're doing and things of that sort. And I was like, yeah, all right, that's cool. But, I want to speak to somebody that really knows what's going on. Not just people that are in the locker room, they learned about something that they read on the internet or a podcast, and they think that they're good to go. So, it was a little bit of a joke. But one thing about being on the job, there's a lot of people that have talents. There's a lot of people that come from different backgrounds, and even while they're on the job, they kind of try to figure out, all right, what am I going to do as a side hustle? So one of my friends on the job, he hit me up and he was like, oh, I saw your post. And it's funny because I actually know a cop that I used to work with, and he was able to resign from the job because he did day trading and he was heavily involved in stocks. So, he said that he was a cadet with him, and once again, from his success, he said, listen, I'm done. So he plugged me in with today's guest. He's been featured in Yahoo Finance and also in Benzinga, a financial news powerhouse. He has ventured into a level of entrepreneurship surrounded by stock trading many of us in law enforcement may strive for as well. And let me please introduce our guest, Chan Lo.
Hey guys, my name is Chan. Very happy to be here. This is my first podcast, so props to that, and thanks for having me on.
Listen, man, I'm very, very happy to have you on. Very excited. Listen, this might be a little selfish on mine too, because I'm gonna be picking your brain for me.
Okay, not
I'll be picking your brain for me as well, not just everybody else. Because right now, like I said, it is crazy, and I'm seeing people making money left and right. Who's not attracted to that, right?
And losing money, though, at the same time.
Right. That's that. You know what? That is a reality. That's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about. Mm-hmm. So we're going to definitely dive into all of that today. But being that this is a Finance United podcast, and at one time you were on the job, one thing that I wanted to start on talking about is what made you become a police officer?
It's great that you brought it up because I actually love the job, and I still do. I went to college for police studies. That's my major. Okay. Like, I always wanted to be a cop because when I used to work in Red Hook Youth Court, when I was going home one night, two cops came up to me and was like, hey, you need a ride to a train station or whatever because, we're trying to help you, and this wasn't a good area. Cool. Now it's, way better than what it was, but right. That kind of motivated me to be a cop, and I wanted to help people. Trading stocks has been something I've been doing for quite some time now. So joining the job, and I actually gave up what I used to do, which was private investigations. Oh, wow. And it was a great paying job. I loved that job, and I thought I could make more of a difference on the job.
Okay.
And then so slowly but shortly, I started realizing, what things were, and I was like, business was slowing down. As not that it was slowing down, I wasn't able to scale because of the schedule of the job. So I was like, I think I could actually help more people trading than actually, being on the job. So I was like, let me make this leap of faith.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
Okay. Now, how long were you on the job before you resigned and took that leap of faith?
I've been thinking, I had 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people were like, just stay. And actually, I have enough time to burn. I'm burning time right now. And currently burning, and I have a good amount to go. So probably like 4.5. I'm still going to be on the job.
Wow. So how long ago was that you resigned?
Probably around November, December-ish.
Really?
Actually, no, maybe a little before that. Yeah,
That's
around there.
awesome,
Yeah,
man.
so it's still like burning out, but people were like, don't do it because, but I feel like that's how they keep you,
Yeah, yeah.
That's like they say, wait till 5. Then at 5, they're like, but you're at top pay. And then, keep on going. Then
Yeah.
10, you get your medical benefits. And then it's just like little obstacles that then you're like, damn, but I put so much time in it already. So I was like, you know what, I'm just do it.
Right, right. It's almost like you have so much invested in it that they might tell you like, oh, if you go out there on your own, it's risky.
Mm-hmm.
It's better for you to play it safe. You already have the time in,
Yep.
and then you kind of second guess yourself, like, can I really do this?
Yeah.
Can I not? So I'm sure that that's something that you had to battle with.
Yeah, even on a family perspective, because
Right.
it's entrepreneurship, in it now. Not everyone is it's not something mainstream is telling you to do,
Right.
Like it's something that you want to do and you go and do it because, growing up as a kid, my mom and dad said the same thing. Not that they're saying like, oh, you can't ever become a business person, but they just want you to go to school, get
Yeah.
that government job,
course,
that, you
of course.
stay and, just do that. So,
Right. They want you to have that security. They think
Yeah.
that's the best for you. Go to
Yep.
school, get the job, get the pension, get the benefits. But, being an entrepreneur, it allows you to have that freedom and, kind of go in whatever directions you need to. It's very risky, but, that's what comes along with it. So, if you don't mind, give us a little background on like your story before even becoming a cop and then transitioning into that. I know you already spoke on the fact that you were a private investigator and you worked in, you said Red Hook?
yeah, youth
Okay.
court.
Okay, and youth court.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my history, I would say, is a pretty good one, and I hope it brings some value to people. But
Definitely.
I came to America when I was 4.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was in a wealthy family, quote unquote.
Yeah.
My dad owned a casino, partners within a casino, and he had an affair and cheated on my mom. So
Wow.
yeah, and then there was some crackdown on like business in China. So
Okay.
we moved here, and we didn't understand English, so we were still spending money as if we had it like that. And slowly but surely, we spent all that money, and
Really?
we were trying to buy a house. This is the story my mom and dad told me, but I don't
Okay.
know if it's true. Yeah. So like we were trying to buy a house, but
Yeah.
they didn't understand English. So they were like, we started like using the money slowly, and then we ended up living in a basement. So we lived in a basement for a while. I was homeless multiple times actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the DOB would come and check on the basement. So every
Okay.
time they would do that, we would have to move everything out as if no one lived there. Like
Wow.
the kitchen
Where
gotta
was
go.
this?
Sunset Park.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would have to move everything out, act it as if we didn't live there, and then come back in, when everything was done. Yeah.
Wow. And where would you stay in the meantime when you would move out?
Wherever possible. Sometimes friends and families will host us. Sometimes you don't, or you stay awake sometimes. Try to just be awake or on the street, whatever the case might be.
Wow.
My most recent homelessness, I had my car, so that was a lot better. And also my
wow.
current girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
that helped out a lot.
That's powerful. How long ago was that?
That wasn't that wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
I wouldn't really say it was homelessness, a forced homelessness.
Right.
It was more of a choice.
Okay.
Not because not that it was a choice, but I couldn't afford. So with my PI job, I bought a house when I was 18. And
Good for you.
yeah, my PI job, I was able to finance it.
Okay.
But when I became a cop, and that was the risk I took to be a cop as well, to help
Right.
people, I couldn't afford the house. So I had to rent out my room or do whatever the case necessary to pay that mortgage.
Right.
So every time I would do that, I would not have a place to sleep. So, and as a man, I don't want to rely on a girl. So I
Sure.
don't want to be, like she offered like, hey, come over,
Okay.
stay here. but you don't want to as a man, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay in my car or whatever the case.
Right,
Sometimes I
right.
slept at the precinct. You know, now I can say that because I'm not on the job.
Listen, it happens, man. It happens. It's unfortunately, I've seen cases of it. I've been fortunate to not have to go through that, but that's another one of the perks of the job that maybe we shouldn't talk about much. But yeah.
Yeah, so now you know, I love it because now I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge part of I wasn't able to voice my opinion on a lot of issues.
Sure.
So I'm glad I did make that jump.
I think a lot of people definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
They definitely do. It kind of restricts what it is that you can openly say. I understand that we represent ourselves to these police departments, and the way we project ourselves definitely determines how other people might look at them. So I can understand why they scrutinize us so much in those regards. But that's man, very humble beginnings. Very humble.
It was fun though, and I don't regret any of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So explain that. You say it was fun, and I understand what it is that you mean. But what do you mean by it was fun going through that struggle and going through that hustle?
It builds up your character.
Yeah.
You know, so now like we have TikTok stars or YouTube stars or whatever the case might be, right? But a viral type of success, and not to, you know, put down anything or anyone, but to earn success through a struggle that you faced, rather than, hey, like I'm a regular person or I didn't have anything to worry about, and then like just shoot up to fame.
Yeah.
That's a different type of character that you're being built. Like
Definitely.
The type of work or just the proudness that you have knowing that you endured something that, you know, something like that. And obviously I don't take it, like what I went through is probably not much, because I know there's a ton of people that are going through the same exact things.
Sure.
But it definitely feels amazing to have gotten out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's story is different. There's a lot of people that haven't gone through anywhere near what you have, and they take a lot of things for granted.
Yes.
You know, so like you said, that definitely builds character, and you know, it makes you more hungry.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you more hungry to get to where it is that you need to be. So thanks for sharing that and being very open and humble in regards to, you know, giving us your history. So what I wanted to know is, how did you get into stock trading?
Yeah, so back in college, that's when I started because I didn't have money. So back in college, that's when I started because I didn't have money that would give me money. So my first thing was actually penny stocks. Venture into things that would give me money. I followed. So my first thing was actually penny stocks, and a lot of people actually know the guy. He's actually pretty famous now, but a lot of people actually know the guy. He's actually pretty famous now, but penny stocks. Now I am not too skeptic of it, but I told myself that I wouldn't really get back into it just because it's given me like a roller coaster of a ride, and I just don't want to touch it that much anymore, which I actually am contradicting a little, because I did get into a penny stock recently that I had strong hopes for, and it's doing quite well. But penny stocks, I feel like a lot of people look down on penny stocks, and it's not necessarily scary, because like Neo, you know, it was a micro cap at one point, and I don't know if it ever reached like penny OTC like territory, but you could find companies that are super undervalued or like prior to it becoming successful, you know, as a penny stock. So I definitely don't look down to penny stocks, but so that's how I got started. I lost a bunch of money in penny stocks, and I thought, and I also made a lot of money from penny stocks. And I was like, this is great. Like I could work on like my laptop. I could make a ton of money like at home. So let me look a little more into it. So I started like, I kept trading. And I kept losing money.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience because as I kept going, I started like, you know, doing more education. Like now I'm like learning Elliott Wave. There's a bunch of things to it, but I think what you really need to know is technical analysis.
Okay.
And I think that's the bread and butter. You don't need anything else if you're trading, because trading and investing are two different things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that is how I started. Losing money, I think, was definitely the best lesson anyone could ever ask for. Obviously, I hope no one loses money.
Right.
But it definitely puts some sort of like break check on you.
Okay. So do you think that with you losing money, that helped you psychologically as well, build up maybe psychological toughness, or what's the word? What's the term that I'm looking for? More of
discipline.
Yeah, more discipline and mentally being able to figure out where it is that you should be and what you should be doing, and not so emotionally driven in your decisions. You know what I'm saying?
So in trading, that's a great point because discipline, which is the psychology of trading, is super important. And I actually think, yeah, like you said, that losing money kind of helped me because I lost so much money. I was like, you know what, like F this, I am going to just let it play out. Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of the cycle of traders losing. So this is what happens. They'll have a plan. They'll go into the trade, and then they'll see, like, let's say 10, 15% gain, and they won't sell. And then they'll come down 10, 15%, and they'll be like, damn, I got to get out. And they get out. So then the question is, why did you get out at 15% loss, but you didn't take profit at 15%? So they just keep on doing this, and then they find out that their trade actually worked out. Wow. So they're like, why didn't I follow my plan? Like, it's always that. Why didn't I follow my plan? And that's emotions.
Right.
So then the cycle just keeps on repeating. They'll lose 15%, and then their whole portfolio is done. Wow. So discipline is like the number one rule. Okay.
Excellent, man. So let me ask you this. How were you able to balance that while being on the job?
It wasn't hard because there's multiple types of trading. There's day trading. Yeah. But then I think it kind of like gets all correlated into one as day trading. But there's day trading and scalping. Scalping is like, quick trades, seconds, minutes, or, whatever. And then you have day trading, which just means that you're getting in and out of the position in the same day. And swing trading, which is, you can swing it to tomorrow, the next week, the next month, or whatever the case might be. Wow. But people all put it into like the day trading category.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're really a trader. You're just a trader, yeah.
Right. Okay. So when you were on the job, what type of trading were you doing?
Swing trading.
Swing trading. And that's when you said that is from day to day or from month to month?
It's day to day, or you could swing a position from the day to the next day, or the next week, the next month. Okay. And on the job, depends because I worked 4 buys, so it was a little easier. Yeah. But most of the money made within the markets is after hours, as in like in the prepping. Okay. You don't need to sit on your computer all day. Like I do it now just because I have the time, and I also have a group that I manage, and we do like live trading. So I just sit there. Sometimes I just like mess around. We're most of the time we're joking. Yeah. And then we'll say, hey, like it's about to hit a certain level, and we're gonna get in or whatever. But that's really like very minority of the time. Okay. Majority of the time is just cracking jokes. Really? Yeah. So you don't need to look at your computer all the time. Yeah. Like right now I am swinging positions, and I don't want to look at my phone right now, but yeah, like it's still making money as we're speaking. Yeah. So
I mean, listen, if you need to, then I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. I'm good with that. So give me a little bit of like an outline. Say, all right, you work 4 buys, right? So you would wake up at what time? And then from you waking up at that time, whatever time you wake up, how would you go about making your trades while you were getting ready for work or before work, and, maybe even monitoring once you're on break at work or whatever the case may be? Like, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, that's another great question. People think you got to wake up. Like, I was always like into believing it too until I started doing it myself.
You were believing
that you got to wake up at 6 a.m. Okay. Like people said, you got to wake up at 6, 5 a.m., start doing your research, like look at news, look at this and that. No, you don't need to do any of that. Like news is part of how they manipulate the markets. But when you look at supply and demand, you will see a lot of the time that if it hits a certain like demand level or a supply level, news will come out because of that. It's weird, and people say, "Oh, so like, do these people look at the charts like as they, bring out the news?" Yeah. The answer is I don't know, but it so magically happens that every time like these levels hit, certain news will come out, and the reason being is because news is used as a way to manipulate the markets. Sure. Yeah. So it's if they want, there's if you read the book Volume Price Analysis by Anna Coling. It goes to talk about how there's 2 phases. One is accumulation.
Was it volume price analysis?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's accumulation and distribution. So a lot of the time when news comes out, it's either accumulation where they want to get more shares. So they'll either downgrade a stock or they'll release some negative news so that the price comes down. Then they accumulate it. And then distribution is when they get out and that's when they, start saying, hey, like, oh, this is the best stock on earth. But as you're buying it up, they're selling it to you guys. Oh. Yeah, so that's how it all unfolds. But yeah, you do most of your homework after hours, and I'll know that, hey, like, let's say Facebook or whatever is getting down to a demand level, which is like a quote unquote support level. And I'm like, that might be where we see a reversal. You know? And that's how I would prep for the next day. Like, the main watch would be Facebook or this or that.
Okay.
And then I'll enter the position either during the day since I have time.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't have time, it's a matter of a button on your phone.
So you could rock it on your phone.
Yeah.
What platform?
I use Thinkorswim.
Thinkorswim.
It's by TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a separate entity from, like, it's sponsored by TD Ameritrade, or it's linked with TD Ameritrade?
Yeah, it's linked to.
It's not. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Robinhood is the worst app. I mean, I know a lot of people have been talking about.
We're gonna get into that, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's terrible.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah, man. Wow, that's great. So, you would wake up what time?
I usually wake up 8:30.
8:30?
Yeah.
Like, even when you were doing 4 buys?
Yep.
Okay. And then you say get ready for work at like around?
Yeah, around 12-ish.
12-ish. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And while you were at work, you would just check out, see what's going on.
Every once in a while, but you would have a plan. So whenever you enter a trade, you always have a plan. So when are you going to take, your profits? So I would either a price target or something, but I know the goal. Like, am I swinging this position? Am I getting out today, or what am I doing? So if I was to get in the position, I would know the price target that I want, and if it hits, you got to go.
Okay. All right. So, man, great information. Great information. What amount for somebody that's beginning would you say that they should start at?
With options trading or trading?
Well, whatever you suggest, wherever you think the bank is.
I think options trading is where everyone's at now.
Yeah.
I used to trade stocks, but it's just super slow. Now I only trade strictly options unless I see like an investment opportunity.
What's the difference between stocks and options?
Stocks is shares of a company, where options is you have control of 100 shares of the company.
Wow.
So let's just say for like there's two types. So it's a call and a put. So for a call, it's saying that you're willing to buy 100 shares of a company at this specific price on a specific date. And that contract, though, it will go up or down depending on the direction of the stock. But there's a ton of factors to it. So you have, the Greeks, which affects the contract price. So it's not just, sometimes you would see that, the stock skyrockets, but your contracts don't really move.
Right.
And that's because of something called IV.
Okay.
But there's, the point being, there's a bunch of stuff that goes into options pricing versus a share. The share, if it goes up 5 cents, you're going to get 5 cents in profit. But options is different. You could get exponential gains, but at the same time you could lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So that's the main difference. Another thing is that options, you could choose to exercise them. A lot of people think that you would have to wait till the expiration date to get rid of it. You don't. You could sell it just as if it was a stock. So you could get in today. If it makes the move within 5 minutes, you could sell it the same as you would a stock, because it's a contract.
Right.
So think of it as like, let's just say you have a house and you have a contract on the house. 5 minutes later, your house value increases, and you're like, hey, I'll sell it back to you. That's it, basically, the contract, the piece of paper. Like, I'll sell it to you now for this price.
Okay.
So it's the same thing.
So you do that ahead of time, right?
What?
You set the price.
You could.
You might want to sell it, or where you might, if it goes up or if it goes down.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. I mean, my head is spinning right now, bro.
Yeah, no, it sounds complicated at first. Yeah, it was super complicated for me. Yeah, when I first started.
And did you figure it out just off of getting reps, or did you refer to that book that you had and other materials?
The book was amazing, but it doesn't teach you about options.
Okay.
Options was straight up YouTube videos. Like, now you have so much resources online. Like, you don't even need to get a book. Like, you could just watch videos. Like, it's pretty. Once you get it, once you get the term and definition of what a call is and what a put is, you would pretty much be set. And then you just have to figure out the Greeks, which are a huge factor, but at the same time, it is not really that important, I would say. I think what's more important is the reality of your contract. So, like, you could choose out the money, in the money. If you go far out the money, it's just like far away from reality.
Right.
But if it reaches reality, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Gotcha.
But if you're like drifting away from it, you're gonna lose a lot of money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, just real quick, I just want to mention this. I looked at your IG story today.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. What's up?
And before doing the podcast, you said that you were going to do a little bit of trading before coming in. Or actually, before you asked me if we could do something in the evening. But I said that wouldn't work. And you was like, you want to do some trading during the day. So I happened to look at your IG story. And do you mind sharing how much you made within, what was it, 4 hours?
Yeah. I think right now the numbers are probably still changing, but as of the last time I checked, I made close to $4,000 for the day. Yeah, it's great, but you can't look at it like that because a lot of the time you get a lot of gains, and that's what people they see on on social media.
Sure.
Or whoever they're looking at. Like your friend might be like, hey, I made $10,000 off Tesla today.
Well, how much did you lose?
Yeah, exactly. How much did you lose the days after?
Yeah.
Because I had a friend who made like $90,000 from 3,000. Mm-hmm. He lost it all the next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's a matter of like how much you're out quarterly, yearly, and if you're able to consistently make that money because luck is there. Like
Right.
GameStop, I'm sure people like hopped onto the GameStop train and made like $10,000-$20,000. But are you able to continuously do it? Because not all the time you get these opportunities.
It's not how much money you make; it's how much you keep.
Yep, 100.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, at what point, what was your goal that you said to yourself, all right, at this point I'm resigning, I'm done?
I was always able to resign. I was debating on resigning for close to a year now. Like because I was trying to get into like maybe a unit where I could, play with kids or like, because I think the youth is the future.
Of course.
So I wanted to do something in that regard.
Right.
But getting to that, that specific position, either you want to have to know somebody or something.
Right.
So that kind of like set me back a little, and I was offered an inside position, and I didn't want to be an inside position. I wanted to be out.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to do other stuff. So I was like, in business, like I said, I wasn't able to scale it because I found myself like a lot of the time during work, I'll be looking at my phone, trying to reply to customers or whatever the case might be.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is the time I should say goodbye. And I think I could have more of an influence on people by helping them financially rather than, because, people say money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does, like,
Sure it does.
It's a huge factor of life. And, they say, would you rather like die in a Lambo or die in I mean, no, that's completely different.
Yeah.
But I do think money is a huge part of life, and I think people are a lot happier if they don't have to worry about finance.
Of course.
And it will make you a way better person because when you don't need to worry about putting food on the table, you're going to be a completely different person in the fact that you don't have to worry.
Right.
I'll be a lot nicer. I'll be more empathetical because I know someone else needs help.
Right.
So I think that's why I kind of like, let me help people with their finance, and they'll pay it back to other people as well.
100%. I agree with that. So I don't know if we got like a number from the last question I asked, but if for a beginning investor, say somebody green just like me, right? What amount do you think I should start with?
Yeah, so for options trading, you don't need a lot. I've seen people, and I've done myself, from 1,000 to 10,000 within a month or whatever the case might be. You don't need a lot. That's the benefit of options trading versus stocks.
Okay.
Because you for 100 shares of Facebook, you're going to need close to above $25,000.
Right.
Yeah, because I think right now it's like 260-ish or 270.
Copy.
So 100 shares is going to put you above 25,000. Whereas contracts on Facebook is probably around $300-$400.
Okay.
Or depending on like which strike you choose or what expiration, it's gonna be like 200, 400. So you're able to scale. You're able to take 2 to 3 contracts or whatever the case might be, and potentially make a lot. I've seen people turn one of my friends, $3,000 during the pandemic on Tesla became close to $1 million. And yeah, it was insane. Those gains like aren't like 100%, it's not realistic in the fact that you shouldn't be aiming for that amount. Yeah. But when you see it, you're like, wow, I could have freaking done it too. But, I didn't ride the Tesla train that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't need a lot of money.
And that's putting in on average how many hours a day?
No, he was just crazy. Like he was like, I think Tesla should go up, and like he put $3,000 there. I'm not even sure if he remembered it. I brought it up. Like I said, Tesla's at like $600-700 back then, and he was like, wait, what? And then he checked his account, and he was like, yo, I'm a freaking millionaire. And I was like,
Unreal.
oh my lord.
Unreal. So how many hours a day would you say you average, like your face in the computer, your face in your phone, looking at options, looking at stocks?
Now it's a lot higher because I don't work anymore.
Yeah.
So now I would say literally the whole market day. But back then, an hour or two.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't much at all.
So you still have your freedom. Like
Yeah.
you just focus during the market hours and then boom,
Yeah,
good to go.
yeah, because even during the market hours, I'm just constantly like, because I provide data to like traders as well. So I'm like managing my business at the same time as, and then if someone brings up like a ticker, I'll look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would say for the beginner, maybe get into options as opposed to stocks as far as trading is concerned, or it's to each his own?
I would say it's to each its own, but at the same time, I would say everyone should establish some sort of portfolio first. So like have money investing, and then a percentage of it goes into trading options.
Right.
Like you shouldn't really, 90% should be in investing and growing your money. And then 10% maybe trading. Because if you trade with 100% of your money, your emotions are going to be off the charts because that's all the money you have.
Okay. So if you're, let's do an example here. Say, you're making $10,000 a month. Let's just go on a rounded number. Or let's do something a little more realistic. Say you're making $2,000 a month, or something like that, right? How much money would you say that you should put into the investing and then the trading, like percentage wise?
I would say like $400 into investing and $100 in trading.
Okay.
But it will start to add up. And actually, I thought you was going to ask me a question like how much should you put in your 401k? And I am super opposed to the 401k stuff.
I'm going to get into that because
Okay.
we actually have somebody from Instagram that asked me a question about 457 and all that other stuff. So I definitely want to tap into that. So, I mean, you're providing so much value right now. I just want to say thank you in the middle of all of this to me and, for me and everybody else that's going to be listening. And another thing I wanted to ask is, how do you feel about the market right now? Do you think that we're in a bubble?
There's always so that question comes up all the time, and it's a hard question to answer. But there's a quote that is out there is that the market could stay irrational more than you could stay sane. So you would never, if it's a bubble, okay. But one thing in trading that we do, or actually investing, you should always hedge your position. So for a hedge, what that means is you should always have. Like for options were initially created as an insurance to your portfolio. It wasn't meant to be, to each their own, but it wasn't meant to be traded like that.
Okay.
It was like insurance policy for these hedge funds or mutual funds or whatever the case might be.
Okay.
To protect themselves.
Right.
So if you were to have like, let's say $100,000 portfolio or whatever, and your portfolio, you think that something's going to happen soon. What people used to do was buy a put option, which is saying that, I'm willing to sell 100 shares of this stock at this price on a specific date. So in the case that it goes down dramatically lower, you could still sell the 100 shares at that price that you picked.
Right.
So it was an insurance policy. But that's what a hedge is. It's to protect you. So even if we were in a bubble and we got the March crash again, which a lot of hedge funds dealt with and probably wasn't read at all. It's
Right.
because they had hedges. You have Bill Ackman, who became a multi-billionaire because of the crash, because he hedged his portfolio. So if you were to put hedges and know how to risk diversify, even if we were in a bubble, you'll be like perfectly fine.
Okay. So say the bubble were to burst, there's still money to be made.
Yeah. Like
Plenty of money to be made.
people think that, if the market was to go down, you can't make money. That's not the case. Like a lot of people made money as the market tanked
Okay.
in March.
And is that due to maybe shorting things or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So can you get it? Can you get?
you have the flow going.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. I try to connect everything together. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about what's going on with these hedge funds or what happened with Netflix. Excuse me, not
GameStop.
Not GameStop.
Yeah, yeah.
GameStop, not Netflix. How could I forget that? With GameStop and the hedge funds planning to short them and that whole Reddit fiasco. How do you feel about all of that?
I didn't play GameStop, but in regards to shorting, that's exactly what shorting. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a hedge. It's a position. So when you short a stock, you're saying, I'm gonna sell you something that I don't have, and I'll buy it back at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
So the example I usually use is, let's say I have an apple and I'm at my grandma's house, and I take the apple, my grandma's apple, and I give it to my friend, and I say, I'll give it to you for $2. And then grandma's like, why are you taking my apple? I'll be like, don't worry, I'll buy it back for you at the market, at a later date.
Yeah.
So let's say the price of apples go up dramatically to $10. I basically just lost $8 because now I got to go buy the apple for 10 when I sold it for 2.
Wow.
And then I got to give it back to my grandma. In the case that apples drop in value, let's say it goes to $1, now I made $1 because I sold it to my friend for $2, but I returned it to my grandma for $1. So that's basically shorting.
Okay.
So what happened with GameStop is that what happened was that Reddit users found out that GameStop was over shorted. So apparently, from what I know, it had a short interest of 120%. So they were selling shares that quote unquote was like non-existent.
Okay.
And some user on Reddit apparently found out about that, and they're like, how is this possible? And Reddit's a huge community.
Sure.
Wall Street Bets is huge.
Yeah.
So let's just say, everyone had like $5 or something, and they were like, hey, let's just go all in onto this stock to cause a squeeze. What a squeeze is that usually you would do a limit price. But when the price is moving up so quick, your limit price is going to not get executed. So people keep raising their limit prices. So instead of that happening, they just set a market order. A market order would fill at whatever the price that they want to get sold at. So they'll keep selling and selling and selling. And then these hedge funds are buying it back to close their position.
Right.
So that would at a market order. So since it's a market order, it's basically whatever price you want, I'll buy it to close out my position.
Okay.
So that's why it had a huge move in price because it was basically at the convenience of Wall Street Bets. Basically I want to sell it to you, but I'll do it for $5, and then someone was like 7, 10. Yeah, and it just kept going up because they had to close the position.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, transitioning from that, and then you have Robinhood now and TD Ameritrade blocking people from buying GameStop. Was it Nokia?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other ones.
BlackBerry, I think. AMC.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you touched on it earlier. You said that you can't stand Robinhood. Did you feel like that before everything happened?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Robinhood is a great app in the way of how simple it is. I think I read on an article as well that they gamified investing. It's so simple.
That's a great way to explain that.
So it's a press of a button and you're in this company and it's so simple.
It looks cool. The platform just looks very clean and
very simple.
And gamey, like you said.
Yeah. But it was always on my mind that a lot of the times it will be out. If it's a volatile day, when you log on, it would be either super laggy, you can't get out of your position, or you try to get out of your position and then all of a sudden it says you're not out of your position, or you thought you're out but you're not, or you thought you're in but you're out. Yeah, so it's super confusing.
Oh man, there's a guy that I work with. He said that because of the whole nonsense. I think so. What happened was his money was supposed to transfer over into Robinhood, or how they don't transfer your money immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll say, okay, we'll take Robinhood funds and we'll invest in whatever it is that you want to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
He did that with GameStop. I don't know what the glitch was, or maybe because his actual money wasn't in there, but he missed out on $16,000.
Yeah, so they have something called instant, quote unquote, instant deposits, where it's up to 1,000 or I think a certain amount that if you deposit, quote unquote, from your bank, it will give you that buying power right away. So I think probably what happened with your friend is that since they locked the whole purchasing of GameStop.
Yeah.
You know, they basically like, kind of like took it back in a way, I guess, and said like, no, we're not giving you the GameStop thing. But yeah, there's a whole lawsuit on it now, so hopefully your friend gets
He got all his money back that he tried to put in,
hmm
but because I guess it eventually went in the whatever the amount is
Yeah.
that he transferred over, he got all of that back. But the winnings, the
Yeah.
earnings, nah, he didn't get that.
Yeah.
He didn't get that at all. So tell us a little bit about your companies.
Yeah, so I currently have Chance Trades
Okay.
and callsreputs.com. So
Okay.
Chance Trades was it's just a Discord community. There's over like 9,000. I think we're about to hit 10,000. Yeah, hopefully this month. But it's just a community of people who want to learn how to trade.
Yeah.
You could. I don't want to say Wall Street Bets, but you could say it's like Wall Street Bets in a community aspect, as
Okay.
in everyone just wants to learn.
Yeah.
They want to understand what this is, or they just want to get into investing or trading. So they join our server, they ask questions. It's kind of like, think of it like a Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah, so people are just in there, and you do whatever you want. You talk, you ask questions, or you give us like, and it's great because the exchange of information is like priceless. Someone saying that, this might go up, and then they tell us why they think it's going to go up. And then it brings it to my attention, and then I look at it, and then, from my perspective, if I think it's going to go up, I'll invest in it. If I don't think so, I'll just, say whatever.
Okay. Now I know there's probably people on here that don't know what Discord is. Discord is
Yeah, it's an app, and it's like the Facebook group, but it's its own brand. People
Okay.
usually use it for gaming.
Yeah.
But now it's they have everything. They have gaming, just community, politics, or trading, whatever the case might be.
And what's your group name?
Chance Trades.
Chance Trades.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And
Callsreputs.com is an option suite platform. So it's basically a data provider. We purchase data from someone who provides data to TD Ameritrade. So we purchase data from them, and then we supply it back out to people. That whole company came, because there's other services out there like Flow Algo or Cheddar Flow or whatever, but they're way too expensive. They're like 100 and something a month.
oh wow.
Yeah, I think like 150. Some even go up to 300.
Mm.
So I mean, I used to use it, but I was like, not everyone has the money to buy this type of software
Right.
to use for their trading. So I created this basically the same thing, but at a third of the price. So my platform is like $50 a month. What it does is basically show you information of the options trades that are going, the large options trades in the market. So like, if someone puts $300,000 into Facebook or $300,000 into whatever, it will show on the platform that someone's initiating this trade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you think it is that you did to get the attention of Yahoo Finance and Benzinga?
I think it was that platform. I think they got a hold of the platform and why I did that. And at the same time, so this story is going to be great. The reason my company is called Chance is because my end goal is to provide people with a chance.
Okay.
So in the end, I wanted to become Chance Corporations. What we are looking to do now is a lot of the money that I'm getting from like the subscriptions or whatever. And it brings back to the initial point that you made that people are not grateful for what they have, and they don't know half of what difficulties people are going through. Chance Trades wants to provide people who actually want to work, a better life. So what I'm trying to do is basically all that money, I'm going to start doing real estate with it. And the real estate that I'm going to do, they're going to provide someone either with a job or someone who's in school with a place to live at the same time managing that property for me.
Wow.
So instead of them having to worry about money, either they do whatever they want to do on the side, and we provide them with a room, but in exchange they manage the property for us. And then, or if they're not a student, they could work as the property manager. So they're gonna take care of the building, and we'll pay them as a side gig.
Wow.
So that's what I'm working towards now.
Okay.
And from there, I think hopefully we get way bigger.
So you're into real estate right now as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What forms of real estate investing?
Currently, I mean, I have my house, the one that gave me all my experiences.
Yeah.
I do have an apartment in Sunset,
Okay.
and I am looking to buy right now in Texas.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, real estate is definitely one of those things I think everybody should get into. Try to figure it out. If you don't have the money, try to get into it. That's my take. That's what I think about it. So, I mean, and you built all of that up within what time span?
Chance trades. I mean, this thing started, I think, during the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Like, everyone's gonna be home. At that time, I was like, let's see if we could get like some sort of knowledge exchanging going.
Yeah.
So I created it, and we obviously started with 0 members.
Yeah.
And then we got up to like 2,000-3,000 members pretty quick. And then now we're about to hit our 10,000 mark.
Do you have partners, or you built all of this up on your own?
All on my own. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
While having a full-time job.
Yeah. Well, partners. Depends what you categorize as a partner. I've had, and you know what's funny? People just come to you when you have a purpose. It's really weird how things, and I don't want to make it spiritual, but
I'm spiritual as well. I do not hide that.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
It's weird. Once I put my purpose out there and try to, help out, things just fell into place.
Yep.
There were people that came to me saying, hey, I believe in your vision. Like, I want to help you. I had someone who said they wanted to help me make the platform free of charge. This is thousands of dollars of work, and it's so weird how everything just comes once you, once you open up.
Exactly.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's the way I take it is that when you're doing the will of God and you stay on track with what it is that He wants you to do, everything just starts to come together.
Yep.
He puts everything where it needs to be for you.
Yep.
I kind of talked about that in the last podcast episode. The last podcast episode was on God's work and taking this job to do God's will. You initially took this job to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Little do you know, by you taking that job, or you probably do know, but by you taking this job, it's allowed you to be here with me today.
Yeah.
And who knows how many cops you're helping by this interview alone.
That's true, yeah.
So everything, like I said, everything happens for a reason. If it wasn't for you being on here, we wouldn't be able to do this. If it wasn't for you being on the job at one point or another, you wouldn't be able to help so many other cops that might feel like, you know what, I love the job, but I need to do something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people, they almost feel that if you stop the job, or if you give up the job, that it's almost an embarrassment of some sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of people need to let that pride, just they need to let it go. I really feel that once again, a lot of people are very scared because of the benefits and scared because of the pension, so they hold on. I'm one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I have other things on the side as well, but I really give a lot of props to somebody like you and these other guys that are on that started up their own companies and just said, you know what, I have to live my dream and I have to fulfill whatever God's will is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. That's great. What are some of the things that you do miss about the job, though?
The shows, the actual, like, they say the job is a movie.
Yeah.
And it really was a movie.
Right.
And I loved it. And I miss the coworkers. They were great people. And
Right.
like you said, there's a bunch of personalities on the job. Like, you go into work and you're like, wow, someone like this actually exists.
A lot of characters.
So
man.
I miss that. I miss interacting with people that actually want help.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, like, bringing it back to the purpose of my company. People who, like, the group is there, but when you come into the group and you just say, like, what do you guys think about this? Or, should I get into this? There's no value behind that. You're just here to basically, quote unquote, freeload.
Yeah.
Or you're not trying to learn. You just want someone's opinion so that you could get into a trade.
You're lazy about it.
Yep. Those people I don't help. I just don't want anything to do with it. Not because I don't like you, but because there's people that actually want to learn. And if you're here every single time just to do this, what am I? I'm not helping you. I'm really destroying you.
Right.
Because, they say give a man a fish a day, or you teach them how to fish.
Exactly.
I want to teach you how to fish, not do something else, because that's not going to be beneficial to you. It might actually make you lose money, and then it might hurt you,
Right.
So I don't want to do that. And on the job, you see there's people that want to be helped, and there's people that, want your help at that moment, but refuse your existence or, your help.
Right.
So, yeah.
So if you want to research, how do you continuously do that? If you want to look into a company, or you want to figure out if this is the right trade, if this is the right stock to get into, what is the best source? Aside from you have your platform, obviously, which is great. On top of that, if you want to just overload yourself with valuable information.
So I think in regards to investment, I think a lot of it, and I don't want to say all of it, is speculation. Yes, the fundamentals like your cash sheets, all of that, and where the company is going, how much debt you're in, that is helpful. But we're in an era of the market where this is innovative, disruptive technology. So, you would have to be able to witness this technology. So like Square, I really liked Square because when I first saw it, it was a device that you put into your phone.
Yeah.
You could, accept payments from anybody. That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, is there a stock for this? So I just Googled Square, and there was no stock. But shortly after, it said Square was going IPO. And I was like, okay, this is something that I want a piece of. Amazon, trying to recognize what you use the most and why. Or like, if a new brand comes out, Airbnb, why, a lot of people use Airbnb.
Yeah.
Why? And do you think this company is valuable?
Okay.
Amazon, it started off as a bookstore, and then they changed their direction to a retail giant.
Right.
I found myself like using Amazon all the time. The Prime shipping, everything was just amazing on Amazon. You had everything on Amazon.
Sure.
Now look at it; it's worth close to $4,000 now. So I think people don't need to stress too much about the fundamentals, but just trying to find, and you will see it because like Tesla, at first in New York, how many Teslas would you see? Not much.
Not many.
Now it's like Tesla everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a reflective of the stock price because you see it. A bunch of companies are trading at like 20 times their actual like revenue.
Right.
So for us to say their thing doesn't match their earnings per share or whatever, it's okay. Obviously you have Bank of America that is their EPS is 30, which is quote unquote fairly low.
Okay.
But they're only worth a certain amount. But Tesla, they were in debt for years, but people don't also realize that they didn't make money from their cars. A lot of it was I believe from like debt notes that every car manufacturer had to sell a certain amount of cars.
Okay.
And they were Tesla was part of that, and that's how they made their money. And they were in debt, but people believed in the vision, and now the vision became reality. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. So let's see. Where do you see yourself in another 5 years?
I have a goal of becoming a multimillionaire by 30.
Okay.
And I don't plan to retire. I think retirement's a scam. I don't think I could ever just stop doing stuff.
Right.
I want to keep doing. Like I know for sure when you retire, you're still going to be doing podcasts. Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So I think once you find that purpose, retirement is really out the door for you.
Right.
Because every day is basically what you love.
Right. Right.
So I think that's where people, I tell my friends all the time too, the retirement thing is a scam,
Right.
Because you do, honestly, especially with the job, you do 19 years and something crazy happens, your pension is really out the door, as much as it sounds as a safe haven for a lot of people. You never know. That's the thing. You want to make sure that you are good on your own.
Sure.
And for me, 5 years, I want to see myself with a good amount of properties that are helping other people out. And I want to be a multimillionaire.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So if I were to go onto your platform as soon as we get done with this podcast, where, like, guide me through the process. Like, where would I start as far as getting information and learning how to start trading? Like, do you teach that? You teach that on the platform as well?
On Chance Trades?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a community. So everyone there is very helpful to one another. Like I constantly ban people, like the people who just come in and just ask for stuff. No, because that's not the purpose of the group. The group is for people to help. So you literally type a question in there, you're gonna get a response within like seconds or minutes.
Okay.
So like you say, what is a call? Someone's gonna reply, hey, this is this, and that.
Yeah.
That's what's so powerful about it. It's a group of over 9,000 people right now. So obviously there's gonna be a lot of like responses, etc. All you got to do is go to chancetrades.com or just type Google search chance trades. I think we're like one of the top results there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
now with calls and puts, is there a minimum that you need to get started with?
No, so calls and puts is actually, and I say it all the time, it is my product and I do want people to use it, but at the same time, if depending on the person's skill set, if you're new, I wouldn't suggest you use it. If you're intermediate or professional, then it's useful. Because when you're looking at just like a set of data, it's pretty much useless unless you know how to decipher the data.
So where would you say that a beginner should start?
Chance trades.
Chance trades.
Yeah.
So the chance trades, you could actually trade on there as well?
No.
No. So once I actually get into trading, what platform should I use?
Okay. I think TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is the best one.
Thinkorswim.
Because it's very complicated, but I think if you're new and just getting started, why not accustom yourself to something that is useful? I mean, it is complex, but you don't want to use, like, let's say Robinhood, and then halfway through you have to accustom to a brand new platform.
Right.
If you're new, just get right into it and get used to Thinkorswim.
Okay, and it's right on your phone?
Yep, you have it on your phone. It's on your computer as a platform as well. The computer one is the best one, but you could definitely do everything on your phone.
And are there any minimums with that?
No.
Okay. It's not all glitchy like Robinhood.
Nope.
Try to make it look cool and then spaz on you.
It's not glitchy, and they also work with you if they made a mistake. The thing is, a lot of people from Robinhood now are moving to Thinkorswim because Thinkorswim just turned free recently. It used to be paid for. It turned free, so everyone's kind of like moving there.
Okay. Now, when all of this was happening with Robinhood and them preventing people from buying, was that happening with Thinkorswim and other platforms as well?
I don't think Thinkorswim limited us to buy GME or any of the stocks that were listed.
Really?
Not that I know of, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Because there's a lot of people that are freaking pissed off about Robinhood, as we know.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. So I have a few people that on Instagram, they wanted to ask some questions. Some of them I'm pretty sure that we went over already, but I'm just going to run through a couple if that's cool with you. So let me just grab my phone here and see what we got. All right, so we have Call Me Kent on IG. We kind of talked about this, but he said, what was it like? How was it managing trading while being a police officer full time? If you kind of want to tap into that real quick.
Yeah, it wasn't hard at all because everything is, like I said, on the touch of a button, unless you're like super busy as a sector or whatever the case might be, depending on your precinct. But even so, you could get out the next morning, or everything is dependent, like on your tour, how busy your workload you have.
Right.
But at the same time, if you enter the position, you could set a sell, like a limit order or whatever that does everything for you. Some platforms even offer where you could, stop loss and take profit at the same time. So once you get into the position, you set both and you let it ride.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have S_E_718. He says 100% of my 457 deferred comp in 2055 fund with 8 years on, 17 years to retirement. Is that good or bad?
I think the 2055 fund is the aggressive one, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know none of that stuff. Let's tap into that. What do you think about these different funds that are offered? These 457s and 401ks, deferred comp.
Yeah, so I think 401k and they offer tax benefits, and I think that's what people are into. But when I used to be on the job, I really actually did 1%, and I was actually going to take away that 1% because when you're able to make that money work for you, a lot more than, what they were offering, you're going to make the switch. Because if, depending on like the rate of return, I think the S&P or even these funds, most of them generate around 12%.
That's pretty good, right?
That's good.
Over a long period of time.
But inflation itself is close to, they say it's only a few percent, but if you think of, I read an article, if you look at all the household items and also like the fast food prices going up, the actual rate of inflation is actually close to 12%.
Wow.
So the money is basically just matching up to inflation.
Right.
So that's why, like, for hedge funds, they want to beat the market, whether it's by a few percent, so like 14%, 20%, 25%.
Get that extra.
Yeah, you want that extra. And if a hedge fund isn't capable of making at least 12%, it's, there's no purpose.
Okay.
So the 2055 fund and all the 401ks, obviously I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm against 401ks or 457s. For your Roth, actually, that might not, the 457 might not be bad, because for your Roth account, you could actually have your own brokerage account. So all of that money is going away, and it's not going to be, from what I know, it's not going to be taxed until you take it out. So you could actually trade your Roth account on a self-directed brokerage.
Okay.
If you look into that.
Right.
And all your profits are basically going to be non-taxed when you take it out at the required age. So that's the great part about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would say just figure out more so how to learn how to trade on your own if you're going to put your money into those funds. That's your advice, even though you're not a financial advisor.
Yeah.
But that's just what you works best.
I would say, do the self-directed brokerage.
Okay.
If you know that you are able to find these companies, I would say do a self-directed brokerage.
Right.
Because the 2055 funds and all these funds, it's just a general rate of return, and it doesn't really, it depends on your purpose. What do you want to do? If you want to live a comfortable life, or you want to live, and there's nothing wrong with being comfortable and happy.
Sure. Sure.
Everyone has their own, it depends on your purpose. You want to make a lot of money, or you want just, it's okay.
Right. And it also depends on how much work you're willing to put in as well.
Yes.
Because with the self-directed, you kind of got to choose what stocks you're getting into, or, and these other funds, I guess it's like, all right, you go aggressive. It's almost like a mutual fund of sorts, right?
Yep.
It's very diversified.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'm pretty sure that you went over this already. I think you said it was Think or Swim. But we have Jose the Mighty. He says, what is your main trading platform and why?
Think or Swim.
Think or Swim.
Reason being, it's easy once you get accustomed to it. It seems complicated at first, but it's very amazing, and you could do so much things without, like, if on Robinhood, like if you wanted to sell or like sell a credit spread, you're gonna have to go to buy, then you gotta click sell, and then this and that. But on Thinkorswim, what you gotta do is right click and then sell vertical or something like that. Like it's made for traders, so everything there is designed for a trader.
Okay. Wow. Dropping bombs, man. Dropping bombs. K Pogs asks, what long-term stocks to invest in that you may recommend?
Okay, yeah. So with these questions, I also got to say I'm not a financial advisor, but TSNP, I really like. I got into this one, and this is the penny stock that I said that I got into. I actually got into this when it was like 9 cents.
Okay.
And, I said within this year it's going to hit over $1, and it's actually at 94 cents right now.
Really?
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites. They're into a blockchain, so with the crypto hype and
let me type
digital payments.
TSNP.
TSNP.
All right.
Yeah, that one's is my favorite one.
Nice. TSNP. Okay. What do you think about crypto, actually?
Oh man, I got called stupid because of my opinion, but I don't really care. So with crypto, it's a touchy subject because do I think crypto is do I believe blockchain is going to be a big part of the future? Probably. But I think there's better investments than crypto. And that's why, not that I don't like crypto or I don't think anyone should get into crypto, but I think there's better investments than crypto that you could get yourself into, especially with the current valuation of all these coins and stuff like that. You could play the blockchain technology. So you had Riot and Mara. I'm sure you probably heard of them already, but they're blockchain stocks. And why I don't like crypto is because, one, the U.S. government's not gonna let that rock. Like, we all know that the government is somewhat corrupt, and they're not gonna let, like, hey, yeah, stop using USD, go for, Bitcoin,
Right.
and we'll let the whole society run off of crypto. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna come up with their own crypto,
Right.
and then all of these would probably come down. I don't know, but you have safe assets like gold or silver that you could get into.
I love silver.
Yeah.
I love silver. I tell people about silver all the time. Having the physical silver, though, not the ETFs.
Yeah, 100%. Because with crypto, you got to think about it. Things adjust. So if we're talking about currency, with the USD or let's say the yuan or whatever,
Right.
the price to pay for that gold is different in the case that of the currency itself. So like let's say it's 2,000 an ounce of gold in USD. It's close to 16,000 in Chinese money because the ratio is like 1 to 8. So if this is a currency, then the price of crypto will automatically adjust to gold. Just like your companies, right, on the stock market. The company's not going to lose value. You're still going to be able to buy one share of Microsoft with a certain amount of crypto.
Right.
Because if you're saying that, crypto is worth more as a currency, that's saying that this company should be trading lower, but that's not the case. The company's intrinsic value is still there. So if I have, 100 shares of Microsoft, whether or not crypto is going to be the future, you're still going to have to pay a certain amount for a share of this company.
Right.
So it just adjusts.
Okay.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
No,
yeah.
I got you. I'm little confused, but that's why I have the leisure of going back and playing the podcast so I can go do, and everybody else. All right, cool. So let's see what else we got here. Somebody says, Dreco18 says, what do you think about OCGN?
OCGN, I think it's Oxygen or something like that. Honestly, I don't know that stock, so I can't really say anything in regards to it. OCGN. Oxygen, yeah. It's a penny stock. Look at that. Technical wise, it looks pretty good actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I did a little more research in regards, but on a technical perspective, it does look good.
Okay.
I'll probably look into it today.
Cool. We just have, let's see how many more. Got a few more.
Yeah, not a
like
problem.
2 or 3 more. It's almost 718 X's response, or question rather. He wants to know if you'd be willing to do finance seminars.
Finance seminars. I mean, I do not finance seminars, but yeah, I do like live chats, like free of charge sometimes whenever I'm not busy, like on the Chance Trace Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. This guy says, forget about stock tips. Talk about how he took the time to teach himself to do this. That's from Pedrig Lindsay.
That's a great question. I mean, like, being on the job, when I got jammed up, actually, I did a ton of, like, studying. But that I already knew, but the thing with trading and investing, you never stop learning. So when I was jammed up, I was like, you know what, let me put some time into improving the art. So I did that. On Skywatch, you're not really doing much, so.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. So we have, I don't know, what's his name? Untold Civil War Stories.
Oh, yeah, Paul. Yeah. No, we've been on Skywatch together. Great guy.
He said, don't forget about the guy that was at Skywatch with
never,
you
never. I'll never forget anybody that's came into my life.
That's what's up, man. That's great. So the last one I'm going to go with, and I think you kind of covered that too. We have Axel Foley's response. Foley's with 4 Ys. He says, day trading or investing, options or stocks?
Investing first, always. Investing stocks first, and then slowly get into trading and options because that's the foundation. You want to grow your wealth, not. So trading is, people say it's gambling, and you could say it's gambling because it's a probability thing in the end. It's true.
Right.
So I guess, yes, it is quote unquote gambling. But when you trade and you know what you're doing, you have a higher probability. with investing, depending on which companies you choose, the stock market is rigged to go up. It's not rigged to go down. You know, you have tons of money that is meant for it to go up. ETFs, they adjust, and every year they select new companies to become on that specific ETF. And, you know, you get sector rotations. So it's not like, you know, people say, oh, but this is going to come down or this is going to go up. But the sectors rotate. So if, you know, EVs are not doing good, you know, banks would do good. Or if this isn't doing good, something else is doing good. So it balances out the market to continue thriving.
Okay.
So,
all right. Is that kind of like how I would say gold and silver is like a hedge against the stock market?
Yeah, it's against the dollar.
Against the dollar,
Yeah,
okay.
but yes, people also see it as a safe haven that when the stock market isn't supposed to do well, they will go into gold.
Okay.
But then again, in March, like you saw, gold prices and the stock market all came down at the same time,
That's
even
true.
crypto. So
That's true.
depends. And you know, the stock market will only come down in the case that, you know, humanity just dies out.
Right.
But actually going back to that time question, you will always find the time if you're interested. Because, you
That's a
know,
fact.
yeah, like you know, as a business person now, people think starting a business, you spend less time doing stuff. That's not the case. Yeah, you are working way harder than what you were doing prior.
No time for
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yep. No.
No
Not
time
at all.
to figure out what series is new
Nope.
on Netflix and what happened last episode
Mhm.
and what show is out now. There's no time for that.
No, 100%. I haven't touched, like, sometimes when I do, like, give myself some time out, I'll watch, like, a movie. Or
Right.
not even, like, a show. And I know I can't. Like, if during the
You just
day,
can't.
you can't. There's not enough time.
Right.
And when I do have, like, a little break to eat, the only thing I'll watch is, like, you know, a live poker game. And that's it, because I could just leave. Like,
Right.
it doesn't really matter to me, but
Yeah.
I'll watch a little bit. That's it.
I mean, if you really sit back and you write down how much time you spend watching movies or watching a series on Netflix, and then you take that time and apply it to something like a hustle or entrepreneurship or business, you're like, yo, what am I doing with my life?
And I love that, because I always say this: stop watching movies or shows, because life is the movie. You're gonna find life to be so captivating and so beautiful, like how everything unfolds like a movie. Why would I watch someone else's, or a fake one at that? You know?
Listen, I mean, you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said it better. It's like you take the time to look at what everybody else's greatness.
Mhm.
All these people that are in these movies that you're watching, they're making money. That's their hustle. Stop watching other people hustle. You know, if that's your thing, if you're not into that, fine. But there's so many people out there that complain and say, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have this. I don't have that. Oh, how come he has this? How come he has that? It's because you're not putting in the work. You're watching everybody else be great and you're criticizing them, or you're letting them entertain you. Why don't you do something to change other people's lives?
That's why I ban everybody on the server that asks for stuff. Because no, that is 100% facts what you're saying. Because on the job, that's what I constantly hear. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have money, I don't have this. But the second they're asked to do overtime, and listen to this, I didn't even need the money. As you can see, that I took all that overtime and time, right? But I still did it. But these people are the ones that say, like, I want more money, I want this and that. One, they're going out to drink every freaking week. Two, you know, they don't want overtime. They ask to do overtime. They're like, nah, I gotta do this or that. So that is very important. Like, you being able to reflect as a trader, that's what you have to do. Reflect and understand what is going on and why it happened. And I think a lot of people don't do that. People complain all the time, like you said, that they don't have this or that. But
Right.
have you made the effort to even improve your life? Because they would go out and buy a Starbucks that is like $6-7,
Yeah,
but they won't like buy a book to improve themselves.
exactly.
That's one of like my pet peeves, but it is what it is.
Somebody asked, and I think you covered this before as well. Actually, you did. But what book would you suggest? Hold on, let me see if I could find because I want to shout them out. What was the book that you mentioned earlier?
Volume Price Analysis by
Okay.
Anna Coling.
Okay. Is that the book that you would pretty much suggest that everybody should start out with?
If you're looking into trading, that's a great book. If you're looking to invest, the Benjamin Graham, The Intelligent Investor. If you want to learn about options, I believe it's called the Options Edge.
Okay.
That's another good book.
Okay, hold on. I just want to shout them out. See.
Oh, actually, Ego is Your Enemy and The Art of Thinking Clearly.
The Art of Thinking. Okay, it was SP Dub. He said, what would he recommend as a read or intro to the fundamentals of trading? So.
Trading, volume, price analysis.
Okay.
Investing and just mindset, like Ego is the Enemy and The Art of Thinking Clearly, they're not necessarily trading books, but they tell you basically how your ego would affect your decisions, and if you're unable to think clearly, how that would affect your trading.
Okay.
It's not trading, but it's just how it would affect your life.
Cool. Excellent. All right. So I really feel like we covered so much today.
Yeah.
Once again,
No,
thank you.
fun.
Thank you. Yeah, man. This is the first, this is your first podcast.
Yes.
And this is the first video podcast that we're doing as well. So thank you for everybody that'll be watching. If you just want to shout out a way that people can contact you, your social media, once again, your sites and, different companies that you may have. And
yeah, sure. My Instagram is at IamChanlo, so IamChanlo. My company, if you just type in Google Chance Trades, CHANCE Trades, TRADES, you'll be able to find me.
Excellent.
Or through Finance United.
That too. And listen, thank you for everybody that tuned into this episode. Once again, Chan, we really appreciate you. If you want to check us out, we're on Finance United on Instagram, once again, and also on Facebook. One thing that I just ask, if you really enjoyed the episode, please go on to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please leave a review. I greatly appreciate it. This video will be the first video on Finance United's YouTube, so tune into that as well. God bless everybody. Be safe, and thanks for everything. Signing off.
Thank you, guys.